everybody. I'm Mel, and today we are going to talk about mental health. I am inside. I was just filming outside, and my neighborhood started to get quite noisy. So I'm trying to do something a little different where you can at least see the outside a little bit behind me. But it's very noisy today. Unfortunately, I do live in a suburban section of a city, and there's all kinds of traffic noises that happen, all kinds of noises from neighbors. Okay, so let's talk about mental health. I'm doing this a little differently. We're going to do more of a vlog type style today because I do want to talk a little bit about a few different areas of mental health, and this may get a tiny bit rambly, so I am sorry. Thank you for sticking with me if I lose you a little bit. What I wanted to talk about, I just filmed a meditation video, discussion of a meditation video, and this kind of is like a bonus video, an add-on, in addition to the meditation section, because meditation and mental health go hand in hand. At least the way that I see it, they go hand in hand. When my mental health suffers, I need to up my meditation game. And to help my mental health, I need to be proactive and regularly meditating. When I'm not regularly meditating, I find my mental health starts to take a dive. Of course, there's other things. Mental health and meditation are not meditation is not the only solution to mental health issues. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not spiritually bypassing anything. I very strongly also believe in medication if that is deemed necessary by yourself, by your doctors, by your team. That is everybody's individual choice. Now, I have done another video somewhere about that, about medical versus spiritual, and I can't quite remember what that video was called. I'll try to link it above here. I struggle with mental health, with my own mental health, and it's something that I haven't really hidden from you guys. I haven't gotten super deep into it, but I also haven't been avoidant to talk about it, because I feel like mental health, that label of mental health, is such a dark one. It's such a lot of people have issues with it. It's so taboo. Oh my God, that person has mental health issues. Everybody struggles with something, right? Everybody struggles in their own way with something and needs support in certain areas. Some people need more support than others. I was a teacher, a special ed teacher, for a long time with children who had all kinds of they were labeled social, emotional, behavioral, because they had all sorts of issues. Some were schizophrenic, some were bipolar, some were just manic depressives, some were severely ADHD. There was a whole range of them. And what I have come to learn, because I mentioned in a previous video that a person that I am extremely close with has been diagnosed with cancer and is struggling with that, and it has become very hard for me in my own world with dealing with that, with processing it, with handling it. I decided to go see a therapist, and I found a holistic therapist. So this person does use oracle cards. This person does use crystals of different kinds. They've actually recommended different crystals for me to use for my own mental health issues. They do a wholesome approach where it is spiritual and real world combined together, spiritual and medical combined together. And I really like that approach, because I had in the past gone to other therapists and they were not holistic, and they thought I was kind of woo-woo. They didn't really connect with me, because sometimes I will feel a certain way just because of the energies. And I did post, check out my community tab, I did post that I needed a little break. And this is what I'm talking about with mental health. I'm suffering pretty strongly from burnout right now. Pretty strongly, and you can probably tell with my lack of postings, or the videos are not as inspired as they could be. And I actually, if you watch The Green Witch, she actually just posted something about that too. So I don't know if it's something that's going around in the energies, but I'm struggling with burnout myself, and that is because I spread myself too thin. I take on way too many projects. I do way too many things. And instead of just like focusing on one small thing, I'm everywhere, and I'm managing a household as well. And I don't know how I would do it if I had kids. Props to those of you who have children out there, because I don't have kids, and that would just be another layer of stress that I can't imagine right now. So I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety. I'm going to be tested soon for ADD/ADHD, because I do, as time has progressed, as I've gotten older, I've had a lot more trouble with staying on task, staying focused, staying organized, and I'm presenting with some symptoms of ADD/ADHD. And I don't know how I feel about going on medication for it, because I know it can be very helpful. I know people that have taken it, and I know it can be very helpful, but I also know it can be very addicting. And I am extremely hypersensitive to medication. I have many allergies or sensitivities to medications, and there's a lot of medications over time that I have not, that I would benefit from, that I've gone off of because of the side effects, and me just not being able to live with the side effects versus the benefit of having the medication. So I'm talking about things like acne medication that I've taken, birth control, things like that. My body is very sensitive in processing things. So with the mental health, I want to get back to that. I've watched a lot of I've been a diehard Johnny Depp fan forever, and this is not a forum for you guys to get into it. Johnny's guilty, Amber's guilty, whatever. That's why I haven't really talked about it. But I've been following it a lot, and I have been a sufferer of sexual assault. I've been a sufferer from domestic violence. I've been a sufferer of being in relationships with a narcissistic personality, traits, not diagnosed. I want to be careful about how I'm saying that, but traits of a narcissist. And this whole following this, I wasn't on top of it completely, but I did follow check-ins like daily. It really triggered a lot in me. And I struggled with that, with watching some of it and dealing with it. And from day one, I felt like Johnny was not guilty, but that's just what I felt intuitively. I just had that feeling. So anyway, it brought up a lot. It brought up a lot that I've been working through over the years. And I was already bordering on burnout, because I'm having to work 12 to 15 hour days, and I used to take 2 days off a week, and now I'm not taking that off because I'm needing to do more. I'm needing to work more. And I have been going to the gym, which does help. I hate going to the gym. I want to be clear. I hate it. I hate working out. However, I like the benefits that I get from it. So the ends justify the means. I push myself through it just so that I can have those hormones, those happy hormones kick in, just so that I can see the difference in my physicality, in my emotional state, in my energetic state. I'm also really tired lately. I've been dragging a lot, and I haven't, for those of you who started following me on the nettle journey, I haven't kept up with it, because it does take a lot to put it all together and then to strain it out. I do intend to continue to pick that back up again. Like I said, ADHD, ADD, like I'm always dropping the ball somewhere. It's one of my personal flaws. Like I take on too much, and then something doesn't get done. I forget to reach out to a client. I forget to pay a bill. I don't clean the house the way I should. Something. And then I'm really hard on myself about it. And that's where that mental health thing kicks in, because then I start to get anxious, and I start to feel nervous, and I start to feel like I'm not enough. And that is a big thing for me that I've had to work on my entire life. Comparing myself to other people, feeling like I'm not good enough, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like I can never measure up and I'm always doing something wrong. Those are big triggers that I've had. And I'm having a very open and honest conversation with you guys right now, because I feel like these kinds of things are weaknesses. Everybody has weaknesses, and our weaknesses shouldn't be hidden, shouldn't be shied away. And although I'm opening up a forum for attack here, I do feel like it's important for you to see me as a real person. I'm not just some some personality through a camera, that through a screen, and with social media, that has become a big problem with people across the board. And that's one of the reasons why I take breaks, because I just can't handle what's on social media. Also, I was a teacher, and I took a big social media break right after that the Texas shooting, and I'm not saying the name of the town because I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but that horrible Texas shooting that happened like 2 weeks ago, where, and I'm sure all of you, if you've been watching the news, have seen it, where a young man who I think was only 18, I've tried to stay away from the details because I'm so sensitive to them, but a young man who I believe was only 18 years old went in and shot up an elementary school and killed many kids, many kids, many people, many kids, injured more. And that was a horrible tragedy. And number one, I feel it when I see it in the media. I don't even have TV. I don't have the news. So I try to stay away from that. I've stayed away from that for a long time, not because I have that fake news attitude, but because me as a sensitive, empathic individual, I absorb, like, I will just start crying. I'll just start crying from watching these sad things. And it's reality. Like, I know I'm not trying to hide myself from reality, because I do know that in the real world, these horrible things happen and change needs to happen. And I am fully aware of that. I'm not trying to tuck myself away in some little cabin in the woods away from the world. I'm aware of how harsh reality can be. But I try to lessen my absorption of it, because it really will take me out. Like, for instance, one of the companies that I've worked for a few years now is based in New Zealand. And there was a massive shooting in New Zealand several years ago when I was working there. And on the day it happened, I felt so incredibly sick out of nowhere. Nauseous, migraines, dizzy. I didn't feel right. I felt down, and it was just like this, like as if I hit a brick wall, and I didn't know why. And it was a couple days later when it came to the news here that I realized, oh my God, that's what I was feeling. So I'll feel it on a collective level, and then I feel it on the personalized level of whatever information is coming into me at the time. And so I try to distance myself at least somewhat. The hard part with the Texas shooting and the school shooting is number one, was a teacher. I have tons of teacher friends, and so many of them have been rocked by this because they're scared about what they're doing in their regular lives. And it was plastered all over my social media news feeds. So between that and then the triggers from the domestic abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse, I really needed like a time out. I don't want to take full-time that, because I'm kind of a workaholic. At one point I had 7 jobs. So I don't like to take time out, and I do need breaks, but I'm not good at giving those to myself. And that's part of that mental health awareness, making sure that you are taking time. And I preach this to my clients all the time, making sure you take time for you, away from everything, unplugging, detoxing, stepping away emotionally or physically or whatever, so that you're not putting everything first and putting yourself first. So that was kind of what I wanted to talk about. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling frustrated or down or challenged, you need to be easy on yourself. And this is something that I've been working with myself forever. And maybe do talk to a therapist. Maybe do talk to somebody that's a holistic kind of counselor, or just a regular therapist, or talk to a trusted friend member. One of the big reasons why I chose to get a therapist was because I don't have a ton of friends, and I choose not to have a ton of friends. I've cut a lot of people out of my life that I found were toxic, that were dragging me down, that wanted to either control me or triggered me in a people-pleasing way, or wanted what they wanted when they wanted, and it wasn't an equal give and take, equal exchange of energy for friendship. So as the years have progressed, my window of friends went from like this to like this. I have very few friends, and that's by choice. And the thing is, because I have very few friends, when I need to talk about something, I found myself dumping it on just the handful of friends that I had. And that's not fair to them. Your friends, my friends, are not my therapists. They're not. They should not be used for that, because then what happens is you end up being that needy friend. I ended up becoming that needy friend, and it was hard on them to talk to me. It was hard on them to be around me because they wanted to enjoy my friendship, and I was sucking the joy out of it. So that is something that I had to become very self-aware on. Now, mental health is very hard when there's no self-awareness, when there's a big stigma to it, and people don't like to look at themselves. We have to look at ourselves if we want to do better, if we want to feel better, if we want to work on things. Shadow work is a video I will be doing in the future, but we have to do that hard work. We have to, because in order to do better going forward and not repeat the situations from the past, we have to heal it. And I'm not saying that every situation is going to repeat itself, but I am saying that in order to grow, in order to become a better person, in order to see what works for us and how we can thrive, we have to take that deeper look inside, internally. I think that's really all I wanted to say about that. I am a little burned out, like I mentioned, so I'm still really trying to get Wednesdays and Friday videos up. Sometimes I miss one or two. Sometimes I'll go live on a Wednesday instead of posting an edited video because I ran out of time or I didn't feel up to it. I've been doing a lot of growth as far as trying to see where I can be more efficient. Because remember, prior to me doing this, I was a teacher. And teachers multitask like you wouldn't believe. However, I would work Monday to Friday, 8 to 3, and then I'd be done. Holidays, weekends, summers, school vacations. Yes, I had work to do, but I was able to do it when I wanted to do it and not necessarily all the time. Where being a business owner, which I absolutely love, you're on 24/7. You don't step away. You don't have a substitute that can step in for you. If you don't do it, it doesn't get done, and there's always something to do. And I've been learning how to work with that approach to my life now. There's so many benefits to it though. You set your own schedule, you decide when you need to take time off, you can take a break if you need to take a break, and you don't have to answer it to anybody, of course, but to your clients. But you don't have a boss. You're in charge of how you function. And that is really, really beautiful. I love what I do. I love how I help people, and I love the benefits, the additional benefits that come to doing this work. It can be taxing. It can be draining. And I'm just asking you guys to be a little bit of understanding that sometimes I need a little bit of time with my scheduling, but also that this is reality. I'm a real person. I'm not a robot. And sometimes clients will treat me like I'm a robot, that I can just spit out answers and everything is good. And it doesn't work that way. And if I do a reading for an hour, I'm exhausted at the end of that hour, and I need time. I need time to recoup. I need time to reset. Sorry for the loud trucks. See, this would be even louder if I was outside. I need time. So I'll do readings and then I take a break, and I'll do readings and then I take a break, and then I find time for filming in between all of that, and then all my other stuff that I have to do. I am on antidepressant medication. I started taking that, I think in October. I don't quite remember. I don't want to take anti-anxiety medication, although I would benefit from it. I don't want to take it because all anti-anxiety medication has side effects of weight gain, and I always gain weight. If there is any kind of weight gain side effect, you bet I'm getting it. So I would prefer not to, because I'm trying to lose weight, not to gain weight. I do use CBD oil or drops or gummies or something like that. It's different depending on what I'm doing, but I do use CBD, and that does help my anxiety a lot. And I get outside as much as I can, although I'm always filming inside because it's too noisy outside. I hope this helps you guys. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're not enough. Don't let anybody make you feel like you are struggling in the space of like you're not living up to expectations, because your expectations need to be your own and not anybody else's. And don't be so hard on yourself, because I know I have been, and it's hard. It's hard living up to a level of perfection that just no human could possibly reach. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm not a mental health practitioner or professional. I'm just sharing with you some of my mental health struggles. It does absolutely run in my family. Depression and anxiety is across the board in the majority of my family members. Some people haven't gone to get diagnosed, but it's very clear they have it. So it does run in my family. It could just be part of my genetics, but it could also be part of the generation in general that I'm in. I think that's all I wanted to share. Check out my meditation video. Be good to yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.